They say a home is just a place to live, but it is far more than walls and furniture. Your home is alive with your energy. Every thought, every emotion, every choice leaves a trace. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the inner life doesn't stay inside. It radiates outward, shaping the very space around you. And on certain days, the air itself seems to shift, carrying forces that are unseen but powerful. September 19th is one of those days. The currents of energy align in ways that make your sanctuary vulnerable, subtle, and deeply sensitive. Today, I will reveal why allowing anyone into your home on this day can ripple far beyond the visible. You will learn how ancient Shaolin masters protected their spaces, the hidden dynamics of energy that pass between people, and the rituals that maintain balance and clarity when the world presses in. These are not stories or myths. They are practical principles rooted in observation, discipline, and centuries of inner mastery. By the end of this video, you will see your home in a completely different light. You will understand why restraint, timing, and awareness matter more than ever. You will discover the unseen doors that open when the wrong energy enters, and how one choice can protect not just your surroundings, but your mind, spirit, and path of mastery. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the pursuit of inner power. If you seek to guard your energy, strengthen your presence, and step into the practices of the chosen ones, subscribe now and journey with us. The forces around us are subtle, but the lessons they teach are life-changing. Today, you will learn to recognize them and protect yourself like the masters did. Energy is invisible, yet it moves like water through every room, every breath, every glance. A word spoken lightly can ripple like a stone thrown into a still pond. Shaolin masters understand this, not as theory, but as a law of life. They do not simply speak of guarding energy, they live it. Every visitor, every presence that enters carries a current of thought, desire, and emotion. It merges with the energy of the home, the mind, the heart, whether you are aware of it or not. I have seen disciples who welcomed carelessly, only to feel their focus scatter, their meditation fractured, their decisions clouded. The subtle chaos arrived quietly, almost unnoticed, but it was powerful. It is not the loud disruption that steals clarity. It is the quiet disturbance, the misalignment of currents that leaves the spirit unsettled. The mind becomes heavy, the body becomes restless, the soul loses its rhythm. Shaolin masters guard this energy as fiercely as a warrior guards a sacred relic. They do not do so out of fear, but out of understanding. They know the cost of unfiltered influence, the slow erosion of discipline, the hidden drain of intention. To invite another into your space is to invite their currents into your life. And not all currents are aligned with the path of mastery. Discernment becomes a daily practice. A silent question arises before any door is opened. What is this energy bringing? Will it build or scatter? Will it disturb the stillness I have cultivated? When the answer is uncertain, restraint becomes an act of wisdom. And in this restraint, the masters find not limitation, but protection, a way to keep their inner world intact, their focus sharp, and their presence undisturbed. Each interaction is a choice. Each choice shapes the flow of energy. And through careful observation, the Shaolin master walks a path of quiet strength, preserving clarity where chaos could otherwise settle. Some days carry weight beyond what the eye can see. Ancient teachings remind us that time is not merely a measure of hours or seasons, it is a river of unseen currents, flowing through both the material and spiritual realms. The masters observed these currents, noting that certain days amplify energy, stirring forces that remain dormant at other times. They marked these days not with superstition, but with awareness. Each date held a subtle power, a potential to either strengthen the spirit or unravel it, depending on one's preparedness. September 19th is one such day. Through history and numerology, it has been recognized as a threshold, a moment when the invisible doors between worlds become slightly ajar. Influence, intention, and energy can slip through, carrying the echoes of thought, desire, and emotion. This is not a warning meant to frighten, but a lesson in mastery. The unprepared may feel the currents sweep through them, scattering focus, stirring restlessness, or awakening hidden shadows. The disciplined, however, can navigate these waters with calm, using the energy to deepen clarity, intention, and alignment. Ancient Shaolin wisdom emphasizes observation, ritual, and restraint. Masters would greet certain days with heightened awareness, refining meditation, adjusting routines, and safeguarding their spaces. The lessons were simple yet profound. The outer world is shaped by the inner, and when unseen forces shift, so too can the mind and spirit. Preparedness is not in resistance, but in alignment. It is the quiet cultivation of presence, discipline, and clarity. It is the recognition that timing matters, and that wisdom is not just what you do, but when you do it. To live in harmony with these currents is to practice inner mastery. It is to move with awareness, honor the unseen, and respect the flow of energy that courses through every day. The moments that seem ordinary may carry the deepest lessons, and those who understand the currents will never be caught unready. True mindfulness extends beyond the cushion, beyond the silent breath. It reaches into the world around you, into the spaces you inhabit, into the people who cross your path. Ancient masters understood that the mind and heart are constantly interacting with currents of energy, some visible, many subtle. Awareness becomes not a practice confined to hours of meditation, but a way of living, an ever-present vigilance that protects the inner self. Each person who enters your space carries a vibration. It may be heavy or light, hurried or calm, clear or confused. Without noticing, these vibrations mingle with your own, sometimes reinforcing strength, sometimes scattering it like leaves in the wind. The untrained mind accepts all as neutral, but the disciplined mind discerns, observing the subtle shifts in mood, thought, and energy. Awareness is a shield as much as a guide. In the quiet halls of Shaolin temples, masters taught that self-protection begins with perception. They watched the effects of presence, how a visitor's fear might awaken anxiety, how distraction might spread restlessness, how unchecked curiosity might stir discord. They understood that the mind is not only influenced by thought but by proximity, by intention, by the unseen currents that follow each step and word. To be mindful in this way is an act of mastery. It requires calm, observation, and restraint. It demands that you notice the subtle changes in your own body, your own energy, when others are near. It asks that you consider not just what is said, but what is carried beneath the words. This kind of awareness turns every encounter into a lesson, every interaction into an opportunity to practice clarity and discipline. The space you guard is not just a home, it is the extension of your inner state. And through mindfulness, you cultivate a sanctuary that remains unshaken, no matter who steps across its threshold. Not all danger announces itself with noise or force. Some of the most powerful disturbances are silent, invisible, and subtle. Shaolin wisdom teaches that jealousy, fear, and unresolved negativity move like shadows, slipping into spaces where the mind and heart are unguarded. They do not demand attention. They infiltrate quietly, seeding doubt, tension, and distraction. A visitor who seems harmless may carry these currents unknowingly, their presence stirring dormant weaknesses that lie beneath the surface. In the quiet of disciplined practice, masters observed how energy interacts with energy. One moment of careless openness could awaken old fears, revive unhealed wounds, or scatter focus that has taken years to cultivate. These influences are not mere coincidence. They are natural laws of cause and effect in the realm of spirit and mind. The subtle currents of another's mind can resonate with your own vulnerabilities, amplifying them like a wind over dry leaves. Inner mastery, therefore, is not simply about control over the body or skill in combat. It is about cultivating discernment and resilience. The Shaolin path teaches observation, noticing what arises in the body, in thought, and in emotion when someone enters your space. Shadow energies cannot always be seen, but they can be felt, measured, and respected. Discipline becomes a form of protection. Rituals, awareness, and restraint are not restrictions. They are tools for maintaining clarity. They create boundaries where energy can flow freely without being disturbed by currents that are misaligned. By honoring this principle, one learns to navigate not just the physical world, but the invisible landscapes of influence, emotion, and intent. The chosen practitioner understands that strength is not only in action, but in preservation, and that some presences, no matter how subtle, can awaken shadows that must remain undisturbed. The rhythm of a day shapes the rhythm of the mind. Shaolin masters understood this instinctively. Each routine, each carefully chosen action is not mere habit. It is the architecture of balance, the scaffolding of inner strength. Discipline is built not only in moments of struggle, but in the quiet repetition of the ordinary. Morning stretches, mindful breath, deliberate work, and reflection are threads woven together, creating the fabric of equilibrium that holds the spirit steady. Interruptions, even small ones, carry weight. They scatter attention, fragment focus, and pull energy away from its intended flow. During ordinary days, this may seem trivial. During sensitive periods, however, the disruption can ripple through every layer of the mind. The foundations of meditation, clarity, and disciplined thought are shaken, leaving the practitioner vulnerable to fatigue, distraction, and misalignment. Ancient wisdom emphasizes the subtle power of these structures. The strength of a master is often invisible because it resides in what has been carefully cultivated and protected. The energy invested in routine becomes a reserve, ready to be drawn upon when challenges arise. When routines are interrupted, this reserve is drained slowly, and the mind is left exposed to the currents of distraction and influence. The practice of honoring routine is a form of reverence for the self, for time, and for the unseen laws that govern energy and consciousness. Each repetition reinforces clarity. Each interruption resisted strengthens discernment. The discipline to maintain structure, even in small matters, compounds into mastery over the self. The Shaolin path teaches that the outer world may shift, people may come and go, but the rhythm of practice, sustained and protected, is the anchor that keeps the mind steady, the spirit aligned, and the inner sanctuary intact. Solitude is often misunderstood. It is not emptiness, nor is it a retreat from life. It is a deliberate space, a quiet chamber where presence and power are refined. The masters understood that strength grows in silence, that clarity is sharpened when the mind is undisturbed, and that the heart learns its true rhythm only when it listens to itself. Solitude becomes a forge for the spirit, shaping patience, resilience, and awareness that cannot be hurried or borrowed from others. There are days when this practice becomes even more vital. Certain moments in the year carry currents that stir hidden energies, both within and without. On these days, maintaining the sanctity of solitude is not optional. It is essential. The outer world, with its distractions and intrusions, can disturb the delicate balance that has been cultivated over time. A visitor, a casual interruption, a careless word, all can ripple through the inner space, scattering focus and weakening the subtle armor of discipline. Ancient teachings emphasize that self-mastery is measured not only by what one can accomplish in action, but by what one can preserve in stillness. The Shaolin path is built on this principle. Presence is a skill, and resilience is practiced in moments of quiet vigilance. By protecting solitude, the practitioner maintains alignment, ensuring that energy is not drained by forces that are neither necessary nor beneficial. In solitude, the mind learns to move freely, observing thought without attachment. The body learns to respond with precision, energy flowing without obstruction. The heart learns patience, witnessing without reaction. These lessons compound, forming an inner sanctuary that remains steadfast even when the outer world presses hard. Solitude is not withdrawal, it is preparation, a deliberate cultivation of strength, clarity, and mastery that equips the practitioner to face every current with calm, discernment, and unwavering presence. Cleansing is more than a ritual of the body, it is a practice of the mind and the space we inhabit. Shaolin monks understood this deeply. Just as the body is purified through water, movement, and discipline, the mind requires its own cleansing. Thoughts, emotions, and energies accumulate silently, layering over one another until clarity becomes clouded. The environment reflects this inner state, responding to vibrations that are often subtle but always present. Inviting unknown energies into this cultivated space is not harmless. Even a friendly presence, unaware of the currents it carries, can disrupt the balance that has been carefully built. The energy of another can mingle with your own, scattering focus and diluting intention. Meditation becomes more difficult. Thoughts, once steady, flicker like candlelight in a draught. The rhythm of practice falters, and subtle alignment weakens. Ancient Shaolin philosophy emphasizes the relationship between mind, body, and environment. The spaces we inhabit are extensions of the self, mirrors of the inner state. By maintaining purity and intentionality in both, the practitioner preserves clarity, presence, and power. Rituals, observation, and restraint are tools to keep the space aligned, ensuring that every breath, every movement, and every thought is undisturbed by unnecessary currents. This is not about fear or isolation, it is about awareness and mastery. To cleanse is to protect the subtle structures that support focus, meditation, and discipline. To guard the space is to honor the effort spent cultivating the mind. When unknown energies are filtered, the environment becomes fertile for clarity, intention, and deep practice. Every moment in such a space strengthens alignment, reinforces discipline, and nurtures the ability to act with precision, purpose, and calm. The Shaolin path teaches that mastery is not only action, it is protection, cultivation, and the careful tending of what is unseen yet profoundly influential. The body and mind speak in whispers that are often ignored. Shaolin practice teaches that hesitation, discomfort, and doubt are not weaknesses. They are signals, subtle alerts that something in the environment or situation does not align with your inner balance. These feelings are the language of the self, guiding attention toward what demands discernment and caution. To dismiss them is to weaken the sanctuary of the mind. To honor them is to cultivate mastery. In the quiet of disciplined observation, the masters learn to recognize these signs as teachers. A pause in the chest, a tightening in the gut, a restless thought, each carries information about the currents around you. It may be a visitor whose energy unsettles, a choice that would scatter focus, or a distraction that erodes presence. The signals are rarely loud, but they are precise, pointing toward what must be preserved: clarity, alignment, and inner stability. Listening to these subtle cues requires calm and attention. It demands that the mind slow, that the heart quiet, and that awareness expand beyond the surface of appearances. Shaolin wisdom frames this as an essential discipline. The mastery of self begins with the mastery of perception. The more finely tuned the senses, the more effectively the practitioner can guard against disturbances that would otherwise penetrate unnoticed. Trusting inner signals is not instinct alone, it is practice, observation, and reflection. It is the cultivation of a deep dialogue between body, mind, and spirit. Each warning honored reinforces the boundaries of the sanctuary. Each moment of attention strengthens resilience. Over time, the subtle language of hesitation becomes clear, reliable, and unerring. In this way, the practitioner moves through the world not blindly, but with quiet certainty, preserving the inner domain from influence that would scatter energy, dilute focus, or disturb the harmony painstakingly cultivated through discipline, presence, and inner mastery. Strength is often measured not by what is taken but by what is refused. Ancient wisdom teaches that restraint is not weakness. It is a deliberate choice to preserve clarity, purpose, and energy. Saying no is an act of power because it protects the integrity of the mind and the balance of the spirit. It is the boundary between what nourishes and what drains, what builds and what scatters. Shaolin masters understood that energy flows like water. It follows intention, moving effortlessly where it is welcomed and obstructed where it meets resistance. By allowing only what aligns with one's own rhythm and discipline, the practitioner maintains harmony and focus. Every intrusion, every force that is out of alignment, carries the potential to disturb equilibrium. It may be subtle, almost imperceptible, but its effect grows quietly, eroding clarity, scattering attention, and weakening resolve. Restraint is a daily practice, a conscious shaping of presence and influence. It is felt in small choices: the decision to decline a visit, to defer a conversation, to avoid situations that do not honor the space or the mind. Each refusal is a reinforcement of the inner sanctuary, a preservation of energy that can then be devoted to growth, reflection, and mastery. The power of selective openness lies in its ability to create conditions where focus and intention can thrive, where energy is not diluted by unnecessary currents. The wise do not fear solitude or silence, they embrace them as allies. Saying no is a way of speaking without words, establishing boundaries that are invisible yet undeniable. It is the quiet assertion of self-mastery, the careful alignment of life with purpose. In this discipline, the practitioner learns that peace, clarity, and power are not given. They are cultivated, defended, and sustained through the art of saying no. On September 19th, and on any day where subtle energies feel stronger, the care you take in guarding your home is the care you take in guarding yourself. By honoring boundaries, remaining mindful of who and what enters your space, and valuing moments of solitude, you preserve clarity, focus, and the strength of your inner world. True power does not come from outside. It grows quietly within, nurtured by discipline, awareness, and intention. The lesson is simple. Every choice matters. Every presence affects, and every moment of attention builds or diminishes the sanctuary you carry inside. Apply this in your daily life. Notice your energy, protect it with care, and cultivate practices that deepen your presence and mastery. Even small acts of mindfulness and restraint ripple outward, shaping your environment, your thoughts, and your path. Carry this wisdom gently. Let it guide how you move, how you receive, and how you protect the sacred space that is both your home and your spirit. When inner mastery meets outer awareness, peace and clarity follow naturally. If this message resonates with you, join us on Shaolin Soulfire. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and continue walking the path of presence, discipline, and quiet strength. Here, the chosen ones learn to honor their energy, strengthen their focus, and cultivate the calm power that shapes both life and spirit